Moving on to 4.10. We are almost finished. 4.10. Parallel and perpendicular lines, right? By looking at an equation, we can tell if a line is parallel to another line, or if they are perpendicular, or if they are neither parallel or perpendicular. There's rules, right? Parallel lines are lines that never intersect. Lines that never intersect, right? They run parallel. They never intersect. Algebraically, how do we know if the lines are parallel? They will have the same slope. If two lines have the same slope, they are parallel. For example, y equals 2x plus 6 and y equals 2x minus 6 have the same exact slope. They are parallel. They will never intersect. Never. All right? Now, perpendicular lines are lines that intersect at 90-degree angles. Lines that intersect at 90-degree angles. 90-degree angles. And how do we know if lines are perpendicular? They have negative, they will have negative opposite reciprocal slopes. The slopes will be opposite, and I will show you what I mean by that, right? So, let me change the color so you can. Alright, so for example, y equals 2x plus 3 and y equals negative. I changed the sign and I flipped it. 1 over 2 instead of 2 over 1 plus 3. They have opposite slopes, right? So not only are they the opposite sign, but the fraction is flipped, right? Negative reciprocal. They have negative reciprocal slopes. What are negative reciprocals? Let's look at that for a second, because that might be a new term for you. All right? So, negative reciprocals, I want to make sure I have enough room to write it. Yeah. Are fractions flipped and the signs are switched. Flip the fraction, and switch the signs. Right? So, flip the fraction and switch the sign to make a negative reciprocal. So, let's follow the directions we just wrote down. Alright? 3 over 4 is our original slope. So to make a negative reciprocal, right, we're going to flip the fraction. So it's going to become 4 over 3. And instead of positive, it's going to be negative. Flip the fraction, change the sign. This is 2 over 1. So we're going to flip the fraction and change the sign. This one's already negative. So we're going to flip the fraction and change the sign. It's now positive. 1 over 1 is still just 1 over 1, but now it's going to be negative 1 over 1. And 0 flipped in sign is still just 0. Don't let it trip you. The negative reciprocal of 1 is negative 1. The negative reciprocal of negative 1 is 1. And the negative reciprocal of 0 is 0, and vice versa. Alright, determine if segments A, B, and CD are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Alright, I'll do odd, you do even. So what we're looking for is slope. We need to know the slope of this line and the slope of this line to determine if they're the same, if they're negative reciprocals, or neither. Alright, so first we need to figure out the slope of both of the lines. They just gave us the points. We know how to find slope. M equals, this is your x1, y1, x2, y2. So it's going to be 6 minus 3 over 2 minus a negative 2, which is 3 over 2 plus 2, which is 3 over 4. So the slope for AB is 3 over 4. Alright? x1, y1, x2, y2. The slope for CD is 3 minus 0 over 3 minus a negative 1, which is 3 over 3 plus 1, which is 3 over 4. They have the same slope. They are parallel. They have the same slope, 3 over 4, 3 over 4. Both of them are positive 3 over 4. They're parallel. All right? 3, let's do it again. I wonder if I can make that just a tiny bit smaller. x1, y1, x2, y2. I like it bigger. M equals 6 minus 8 over 2 minus a negative 1, which is negative 2 over 2 plus 1, which is a negative 2 over 3. And the second one, x1, y1, x2, y2. Even I still label. It keeps track of the information. It makes sure I put it in the right place. It doesn't hurt anything to label it. 3 minus 2, 3 minus negative 1. So we have negative 1, 3 minus 2, over 3 plus 1, negative 1 over 4. They are not the same slope, nor are they negative reciprocals. Thus, they are neither parallel or perpendicular. They're neither. Neither. They're not the same, and they're not negative reciprocals. x1, y1, x2, y2. We have m equals 7 minus a negative 2 over 0 minus 0. So we have 7 plus 2 over 0. We have 9 over 0. That's undefined. But it's okay because we're going to see what this one is. This one might also be undefined, in which case they would be parallel. Or it might be zero slope, in which case it would be perpendicular. Interesting. Let's find out. Negative 5 minus a negative 5. Oh, I'm going to make that clear. Minus a negative 5 over 6 minus 3 is negative 5 plus 5. Interesting. Over 3, which is 0 over 3. So it is zero slope. And remember, the negative reciprocal of 0 is 0. So they are perpendicular. I know it's weird, but you can imagine it, right? 9 over 0 is like this, undefined. 0 over 3 is like this because it's 0 slope. So if you take a second and sketch it out, you'll know it's perpendicular. x1, y1, x2, y2. The first line is negative 4 minus 1 over 3 minus 3. Oh, we have another weird one. Negative 5 over 0, undefined. And the second one is 5 minus 1 over negative 4 minus a negative 4, which is 4 over negative 4 plus 4, which is 4 over 0. So they're both undefined. This time they're going to be parallel. Right? Because if this one is negative 5 over 0, it's undefined over here. And this one's 4 over 0, it's undefined over here. They're going to be parallel. Right? Given equations. This is even easier. Instead of giving you 2 points, they gave you the equation. All you have to remember is that if it's in slope-intercept form, right, if it's in y equals mx plus b, which it is, then all you have to do is remember that the slope is the coefficient of x. They have the same slope. They're parallel. Right? Same slope. Same slope equals parallel. Alright, these ones are also in y equals mx plus b. We have a negative 1/3 and a positive 1/3. They are not the same, but they are not negative reciprocals. So they are neither. They are neither parallel nor perpendicular. That means when you graph it, one's going to be like this and one's going to be like this. They are not parallel or perpendicular. Alright, this one is not in slope-intercept form. This one is in slope-intercept form. Alright, so we know the slope for this one is negative 1 over 5. We got to figure out the slope for this one. We need to convert it to slope-intercept form. We need to solve for y. We need to get that y by itself. We have a positive 5x, so we're going to subtract 5x from both sides. These will cancel because 5 of something minus 5 of something is 0. We're left with negative y equals negative 5x plus 4. We need to get rid of this negative sign. So we're going to change all the signs. So it's going to become y equals 5x minus 4. So our slope is 5. One's positive, one's negative. One's 5 over 1 and one's 1 over 5. They are negative reciprocals. That means they are perpendicular. Perpendicular. Negative reciprocals means they're perpendicular. One more, I think. All right, both are in slope-intercept form, but they're trying to trick you. Remember the invisible 1, right? Both have an invisible 1. And remember what I said, the negative reciprocal of 1 is negative 1. If there are negative reciprocals, then they are perpendicular. They are perpendicular. I know, it's crazy, right? All right, so even ones are yours. I'll do a quick scan at them so that you can use them from the video. If you have to take notes on your own paper. 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14, and 16. All right, good luck.